21st. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Just a beautiful day out there. I mean, temperatures got up to near 60 in some spots, and we're going to get even warmer tomorrow. So that's a nice shot of the sun setting in Springfield. The Roofing Dog INET Flooring America Cameron. Let's now take a look at the satellite and radar picture, which is going to show the generally clear skies that we've got out there. And then the temperatures that even still are in those 50s right now in Springfield. 49 in Champaign and Effingham, and that's the thing. Well, it's nice there around, 2, 3 o'clock. As soon as that sun sets, boy, that temperature falls off quickly. That's going to happen again here as we go throughout tonight. Back down to near freezing by tomorrow morning, but just wait till I show you the temperature we've got for tomorrow. You're going to like it. I'll show you that coming up. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now on WCIA 3 News.
A restaurant could soon face consequences for serving people inside. The owner says he doesn't have another option. Plus, COVID-19 forced a homeless shelter to close. How a donation event turned into a super spreader.
And we are closer than ever to seeing a COVID vaccine in the U.S. What health officials want you to know before you get the shot.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 5.
If I go to curbside, I'm going to have to lay off, 15 employees.
And that's one of the reasons this restaurant owner is refusing to do it. Good evening. I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jennifer Roscoe. The Apple Dumpling in Urbana has been serving people inside despite the state's rules against it. Last week, the health department took the restaurant's food permit away. Today, the health department stopped by again, and nothing had changed. WCIA 3's Courtney Bunting live at the restaurant. So, Courtney, are they open now?
Well, Jennifer, they actually are closed, and normally on Wednesday nights they would be open until 7, but they closed earlier today after that visit from the health department. We did stop by earlier this morning, and they had been serving people indoors here all morning up until, as I mentioned, the health department showed up. They decided to close their doors at that point. Now, they explained, though, that they will be back open tomorrow for indoor seating. The owner I talked to says they're just trying to do what it takes to keep from shutting down altogether, and he feels they're doing it. They're serving indoors safely.
It is a clean restaurant. My kitchen is open. You can sit down in the dining room and see what's going on in my kitchen. We pride ourselves on it. We sanitize everything. I mean, I have so much extra mitigation going on in here, and I feel that we can operate safely.
He also explained that they're making less than half of what they normally would right now. That's even with the indoor service. And he says curbside pickup orders alone just would not be enough for them to remain open. They also explained that they don't have enough space in their parking lot here to accommodate outdoor seating reasonably. I did talk to Public Health Administrator Julie Pride, and she explained that they will soon, she believes, be held in contempt of court for continuing to serve, for continuing to offer that indoor service. She also said that she believes the state's attorney's office will soon be having a restraining order to try to stop Apple Dumpling from serving. However, last I checked with the owner I spoke to, that had not happened yet. I did also reach out to the state's attorney's office, but they weren't able to comment about this at this time. Live in Urbana, Courtney Bunting, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Courtney, thank you. Some more information. The owner of the restaurant says there haven't been any positive COVID-19 cases tied to their restaurant. We reached out to the health department to ask them about it. They wouldn't answer that question. A day shelter is temporarily closing after a volunteer for a recent event there tested positive. The dwelling place in Danville will be closed until December 21st. The president says the positive result came in yesterday. She says protocols for the Christmas donation event included social distancing, appointments to shop, and a mask wearing. They're working with the county health department to contact trace. She says they don't regret hosting the event for low-income children. To help keep everybody safe, they are urging people who were there to get tested just in case.
Public health officials are preparing people for what to expect when they get the coronavirus vaccine. Capitol Bureau Chief Mark Maxwell's in Springfield tonight. Mark, Dr. Ezike said today roughly 20% of people who get the vaccine could experience some side effects.
Paul, good evening. Dr. Ezike is working now in advance to get the word out before the first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine come out. Tens of thousands of patients already took these vaccines, of course, during the human trial phase, and researchers and doctors have learned a lot about that in the interim. For example, it's not uncommon with this vaccine to experience things like fever or fatigue or headache after you get that shot in the arm. The state's leading health official says it's important people understand that now so they don't panic after the fact. And she also addressed new reports about concerns over allergic reaction in patients in Britain and said that's not common for everyone.
These were individuals that had a history of severe allergic reactions. They were both healthcare workers that already carried with them EpiPens on a regular basis because of a known allergic reaction history, that history of anaphylaxis. And so they were able to have that, EpiPen, if you will, administered, and they recovered.
That's another benefit of frontline healthcare workers getting the first doses of the vaccine. Of course, it protects their health, and they're important to the work of protecting patients. But once they've experienced that vaccine, of course, they can help to prepare patients for the experience as they take it themselves. There's a big meeting on the calendar tomorrow at the FDA's Independent Advisory on Vaccines. They're expected to vote and could recommend the Pfizer vaccine for emergency use, something the entire country, the entire world will be watching closely tomorrow. Paul?
And no doubt about that. All right, Mark Maxwell in Springfield. Mark, thanks. Well, here's a look at today's coronavirus numbers statewide. Health officials are reporting more than 8,200 new cases. There is a drop in the positivity rate, which is some good news. It is now down to 11.4%. More than 5,200 people are in the hospital in Region 3. 89% of ICU beds are being used, though. In Region 6, 73%. Both are up from yesterday. 179 more people have died. That includes 31 from Central Illinois. More than 13,600 people have lost their lives to COVID-19 in the state.
One person is dead after a semi crashed and caught fire this morning. It happened on I-70 at the I-57 interchange. A semi hauling dog food went off the road as the driver appeared to be exiting to I-57. The truck started burning and the driver died. The Effingham County coroner is working with the trucking company to identify the driver. A man from Mason faces up to 60 years in prison for murder. 37-year-old Christopher Glass's trial date is now set for January 26th. Glass is accused of shooting Kimberly Mattingly in Effingham County. Authorities arrested Glass in Terre Haute. A judge sentenced 38-year-old Aaron Kaiser from Beecher City to 8 years for his connection to the case. He was convicted of concealing a homicide.
Here's an update now. A jury convicted a man for the 2017 bombing of a mosque in Minnesota today. Michael Harry was guilty on all 5 counts. They include civil rights and hate crime charges. Harry, who's from Clarence, Illinois, was the ringleader of a small militia group behind the bombing. Prosecutors outlined Harry's hatred for Muslims as his motivation. They cited anti-Islam excerpts from his manifesto. Harry's also charged with trying to set fire to a Champaign women's health clinic. Springfield's mayor is opening the city's checkbook to try and keep his police chief in the city. Jim Langfelder offered Kenny Winslow a 5% raise after Winslow was offered a new job in Franklin, Tennessee. The mayor says he hasn't heard an official decision from Winslow since he made that new offer.
That shows the credit to us and to Chief Winslow, the type of person he is. He's a quality individual, and we've had him here. And you have one of the top spots to be near Nashville, really sought after him.
A 5% raise is the most the mayor can offer without council approval. He says Winslow applied for the job in Tennessee because his family is familiar with the area, but it was the only job to which he applied.
We've been telling you about our Toys for Tots drive all week and showing you can't see it in this shot. There's toys back here.
A lot of them.
Promise. What volunteers are hoping to see from you tomorrow.
What's this? Entered a home after he didn't hear from the tenant for months. Why he says what he found left him heartbroken.